Hi, I'm Rebecca Davis of Weird, Scary, and Interesting. I thought to talk about the evolution of the Luxembourg's monarchy. I thought to make this video when I found out that Grand Duke Henri of Luxembourg was going to advocate in favor for his son, hereditary Grand Duke Guillaume. I think I pronounced that right. Hi, Snowball. Everybody remember Snowball? Yeah. She says hi. Okay. His son, Grand Duke Hereditary Grand Duke Guillaume, I think that's right, on October 3rd, 2025. Sorry, Snowball got me mixed up. Sorry. We'll continue. Officially Grand Duke Are you taking up the screen? Yeah, thank you for moving down, Snowy. Officially, Grand Duke Henri will advocate his throne on October 3rd, 2025. So it's a month's away. So we're in January, so February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, 10 months away. That's when hereditary Grand Duke Guillaume will become Grand Duke Guillaume of Luxembourg. The territory of Luxembourg has been she stole my hair ties. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Oh, Snowy, you're fine. Sorry. Okay, sorry about that. Let's continue on. Okay, what I was gonna say before I got rudely interrupted by a kitty. The territory of Luxembourg has been ruled successfully as a countdown from 963 to 1354 and a dukedom from 1354 to 1794 and a grand dukedom from 1815 to present day. Luxembourg was a part of a medieval kingdom of Germany and later the Holy Roman Empire until it became a sovereign state in 1815. So it took that long time to become its own sovereign state. So this is going to be a little different than last year's evolution video. Instead of talking about a kingdom, we're going to be talking about history of a duchy, a grand duchy, actually. So let's get into this and find out who all in the past of Luxembourg's history ruled over Luxembourg to the present day. Okay. First off, we're getting into counts and countesses of Luxembourg. A countdom is a territory or a status of country, a count or countess. Oh, my snowball growling stash is being a little terror today. Just stop. Thank you. Gotta love kitties. Okay. First house up that ruled Luxembourg was the House of Erdeni Luxembourg. Okay. The first count was Count Sigmund and his wife Hedwig of Nordguru. How's that pronounced? Became first Count and Countess of Luxembourg on the year 963. So he was the one that kicked the whole thing off. Him and his wife. Okay. Count Siegfried ruled for Luxembourg from 963 until his death on October 28th. Oops. Sorry about that. Till his death on October 28th, 998. Sorry, I clicked into something. Notification. So that clicked. What I was saying is he ruled until his death on October 28th, 998. Okay. And his wife, Hedwig of Nordguru, ruled as Countess Consort from 963 until her death in 993. Count Siegfried and Hedwig of Nordguru had 11 children throughout their 43 years of marriage. Okay. The second Count of Luxembourg was Count Henry I, became Count of Luxembourg on October 28, 998, when his dad, Count Siegfried, died. on the same day. Count Henry I ruled from October 28, 998 until his death on February 27th, 1026. At the time of Count Henry's I's death, he was never married and did not have no children, so his throne passed to his nephew Henry. Okay, just coming up next. Third count, Count Henry II, became Count of Luxembourg on February 27, 1026, when his uncle Henry died on the same day. So, well, can you share the screen instead of taking up half of it? Thank you, my baby. Okay. Count Henry II ruled from February 27th, 1026 until his death on October 16th, 1047. At the time of Count Henry's death, he was never married and did not have no children, so his throne passed to his brother. Hopefully I get this name right. Jezelbert. Okay. Number 4. Fourth count, Count Jezelbert, became Count of Luxembourg on October 16, 1047, when his uncle Henry died on the same day. Count Jezelbert ruled from October 16th, 1047 until his death on August 14th, 1059. At the time of Count Jezelbert's death, he was married. His wife's name is unknown. And he and his wife had 7 children throughout their marriage. So since his wife was unknown, I couldn't figure out how many years they were married. So, mystery. Okay. Let's continue to the 5th count. Count Conrad I became Count of Luxembourg on August 14th, 1059, when his dad, Count Jezelbert, died on the same day. Count Conrad I ruled from August 14th, 1059, until his death on August 8th, 1086. At the time of the Count Conrad's death, he was married to Clementia. Clementia, the daughter of the Duke William the 7th of Aquitaine. and of Emstein, and Count Jezelbert and Clementia of Aquitaine has 7 children throughout their 11 years of marriage, and only 2 of their sons, Henry and William, had ruled Luxembourg, and daughter Emstein had ruled Luxembourg in their own right. And their grandson Henry had ruled Luxembourg at one time. They had members of their family that took turns ruling Luxembourg. So, okay. Number 6 is Count Henry III became Count of Luxembourg on August 8th, 1086, when his dad, Count Conrad I, died on the same day. Count Henry III ruled from August 8th, 1086, until his death in 1096. At the time of Count Henry's death, he never married, did not have no children, so his throne passed to his brother William. Okay. And he's coming up at number 7. Count William I became Count of Luxembourg in 1096 when his brother Count Henry III died on the same year. Count William I ruled from 1096 until his death in 1131. At the time of Count William I's death, he was married to Matilda, or Luitgrade of Northemy. So they're not sure what his wife's name, whether it's one or the other name. And so anyways, and they had 3 children throughout their 9 years of marriage. So, not a big family. Okay. Move on. Number 8. Count Conrad II and Countess Ermengarde of Zeppenhagen became Count and Countess of Luxembourg. In 1131, when his dad, Count William I, died on the same year, Count Conrad II and Countess Ermengarde ruled from 1131 until his death in 1136. At the time of Count Conrad II's death, he did not have any children of his own. He only had 3 stepchildren that were from Countess Ermengarde's first marriage to Count Griegard II of Guelders and of Luxembourg. So his throne was passed to his aunt Emmenstained. Okay. We're moving on to number 9. To Countess Emmenstaine I and Count Godfrey I of Namur became Count and Countess of Luxembourg in 1136, when his nephew, Count Conrad II, his death in the same year. Countess Emmenstaine I and Count Godfrey I ruled Luxembourg from 1136 to 1136, when she advocated in favor for her son Henry, and never actually ruled long. She permanently known because she made a number of donations to churches and monasteries. Towards the end of her life, she retired to a monastery. Countess Emmenstaine I was married twice and had a total of 7 children. Countess Emmenstaine's first husband was Albert of Moha, and she had 2 children with Albert of Moha. Countess Emmenstaine I's second husband was Count Geoffrey I of Namur, and she had 5 children with Count Geoffrey I of Emmenstaine. Countess Emmenstaine I was the last ruler from the house of Audrey, Luxembourg. Okay. Now, we're going to move on to the second house that ruled Luxembourg when it was a countess. House of Luxembourg and Namur. Are you fine? Okay. Sorry, trying to make sure a cat fight doesn't break out. Okay. Okay. Number 10. Count Henry IV, the Blind, became Count of Luxembourg in 1136 when his mom, Countess Emmenstaine, first advocated in favor for him. Count Henry IV the Blind ruled Luxembourg from 1136 until his death on August 14th, 1196. At the time of Count Henry IV, the Blind's death, he was married twice. First wife was Lorette of Elstein. His second wife was Agnes of Glacers, and Count Henry IV the Blind had only one child that was a girl, Amstein, that ruled Luxembourg at one time. Henry is an important figure in the history of southern Netherlands in the modern countries of Belgium and Luxembourg. He is especially important to the house of, the history of the country of Namur, where he was the last member of the first line of counts, the most powerful of them. His important inheritance were divided again after his death, bringing Namur and Luxembourg to two different families. His daughter, who also was born when he was old, kept Luxembourg and the smaller Andre's lordship, while the descendants of his sister Alice, who also counts of Flanders and Hainaut, I think that's right, added possession of Amar to their domain. Henry lost the use of his eyes in 1182, but he was not referred to as the blind until much later. Modern historians use the by-name in order to disguise him from a later count. A Count Henry I of Vienne. A Count Henry IV the Blind was the first and last ruler from the house of Luxembourg and Namur that ruled Luxembourg until its return in 1197. Okay. Moving on to another house that ruled over Luxembourg at one time. House of, hopefully I get this right, Hohenstaufen. Hopefully that's right. Number 11, Count Otto and Margaret of Blois became Count and Countess of Luxembourg on August 14th, 1196, when his third cousin, once removed, Count Henry IV the Blind, had died the same day. Count Otto and Margaret of Blois ruled from August 14th, 1196 until 1197, when the regional conflicts had become a severe threat to the power politics of his Hohenstaufen relatives. In 1200, Count Otto was assassinated at Besançon. His death became unuseful to many political actors. Count Otto was buried at St. Stephen's Cathedral. Today, the site of, hopefully I get this right, critical of Besancon. At the time of Count Otto's assassination, he and his wife, Margaret of Blois, and 2 daughters, and Count Otto was said to have an illegitimate son. Sorry, I'll be right back. Sorry. Let's say the 1-year-old's causing trouble. Okay, where are we? Okay. Okay. Yeah, Count Otto had illegitimate son named Hugo. Who in 1203 surrendered any claim to the country to his stepmother, Margaret of Blois. Count Otto was the first and last ruler from the house of Hohenstaufen. Are you giving your sister heck? She's fine. She's down there. Okay. Let's continue on. Between the growls. Sorry about that. Okay, let's move on. Damn cats. Okay. Yeah, let's move on to, I guess we're back to the house of Luxembourg and Mir. Yeah, it returns. As I said prior, that it's going to be back. And with number 12, Countess Emstein II and her husband, Count Theobald of Bar, became Count and Countess of Luxembourg in 1197, when her 4th cousin, Count Otto, was kicked off his throne because of regional conflicts, had become severe threat to the power politics of Hohenstauffen's relatives. Or let's say it got there was problems in the system and it got too much for Otto to continue in this way. Emstein II was able to take her rightful throne. Okay. Which he actually was able to get it after the little political problems with that part of her family, their family had. So more or less it was a win-win for her and not so much for Otto. Okay, anyways. Countess Emma Stain II co-ruled with both of her husbands. And she won't be and by the way, she's not the only co-ruling monarch in this list. So, Countess Emma Stain II ruled from 1197 until her death on February 12th, 1247. Count Theobald I of Bar co-ruled Luxembourg from 1197 until his death on February 13th, 1214. Count Walram co-ruled from May 1214 until his death on the second 12 in the year 1226. Countess Emma Stain had 3 children with both of her husbands. So you look it up. It depends on how. You know, you don't have to destroy the house, you two. Sorry about that. It depends on how many kids that she had with both of her husbands. I know I didn't mention it in the script, but okay, we'll move on to number 13. Count Theobald Bar and Emma Stain of Luxembourg became, there's a different Emma Stain than before, became Count and Countess of Luxembourg when his 4th cousin, Count Otto, was kicked off his throne because of regional conflict had become a severe threat to the power politics of the Holstein relatives. Count Theobald. Oh, actually, I'm wrong. It's the same one. Same. This is her husband. Ruled with his 3rd wife, Countess Emma Stain II, from 1197 until his death on February 13th, 1214. So yeah, these are Emma Stain II's husbands I'm mentioning now, since they co-ruled with her. At the time of Count Theobald's death, he was married 3 times. First to Lorette of Loon, second to Emma Stain Bar Scherstring, and third and last to Emma Stain of Luxembourg. So, yeah. And Count Theobald had 1 child with his first wife, then had 3 children with his second wife, and then had 5 children with his third and last wife. So Count Theobald has a total of 9 children with all 3 of his wives in total, because of the 1 and 3. And, yeah. I had to do the math. So it was after, after Count Theobald died, Emma Stein of Luxembourg remarried. Count Theobald I was from the house of Mount B. Laird. Yeah. Cats are driving me crazy. Do you two mind? Okay, let's move on while we have a battle royal of furballs. We're moving on now to 14, to the second and last husband of Emma Stein. Count Walderan became the Count of Luxembourg when he married Countess Emma Stein, the second of Luxembourg, on May 12th, 1214. Count Walderan co-ruled from May 12th, May of the year 1214, until his death on July 2nd, 1226. Count Walderan, before he married Countess Emma Stein II of Luxembourg, he was already Duke Walderan III of Limburg, and was married to Cangreda of Lorraine, and had 4 children with Cangreda of Lorraine. Count Walderan was from the house of Limburg. So, Count Walderan had 3 children with his second wife, Emma Stein II of Luxembourg. So, Count Walderan had a total of 7 children. Count Walderan was the last ruler in the house of Luxembourg and Niemeyer. Sorry, I have to go see what the cats are doing. Be back. Okay, I'll be back. I'm back. Let's move on. The house of Luxembourg, Limburg. Okay. With number 15, Count Henry V, the blonde. We have a blondie. And his wife, Margaret of Bar, became Count and Countess of Luxembourg on February 12th, 1247, when his dad, Count Walderan, died on the same day. Count Henry V, the blonde, ruled from February 12th, 1247 until his death on December 24th. Yeah, Christmas Eve, 1281. And Margaret of Bar ruled as Countess Consort from February 12th, 1247 until her death in 1275. Count Henry V the Blonde and Margaret of Bar has 7 children during their 41 years of marriage. Count Henry V the Blonde also had at least 2 illegitimate sons. All of his sons perished in the Battle of, hopefully I get this one right, bear with me, Warringay in 1288. Okay, we're moving on to number 16. To Count Henry VI, the condemned, became Count of Luxembourg on December 24th, Christmas Eve, in 1281, when his dad, Count Henry V the Blonde, died on the same day. Count Henry VI the Commanded ruled from December 24th, Christmas Eve, 1281, until his death at the Battle of Warringay on June 5th, 1288. Count Henry VI the condemned was married to Bernice d'Avesnes right up to his death on March 1st, 1321. Count Henry VI the condemned and Bernice d'Avesnes had 5 children during their 56 years of marriage. Okay. Moving on to number 7. The Count Henry VII became Count of Luxembourg on June 5th, 1288, when his dad, Count Henry VI the condemned, died on the same day. Count Henry VII ruled from June 5th, 1288 until his death on August 24th, 1313. Count Henry VII was married to Margaret of Brabant right up to his death on December 14th, 1311. Count Henry VII and Margaret of Brabant had 3 children during their 19 years of marriage. 18. Moving on to number 18. Count John the Blind and Elizabeth of Bohemia became Count and Countess of Luxembourg On August 24th, 1313, when his dad, Count Henry VII, died on the same day. Count John the Blind Count John the Blind ruled Luxembourg from August 24th, 1313 until his death on August 26th, 1346. Elizabeth of Bohemia ruled as Countess Consort from August 24th to 13th, August 24th, 1313 until her death on September 28th, 1330. Count John the Blind and Elizabeth of Bohemia had 7 children during their 20 years of marriage. When Elizabeth of Bohemia had died, Count John the Blind remarried to Bernice of Bourbon, as they pronounce it, on December 1313, December 1334, Count John the Blind and Bernice had 2 children during their 12 years of marriage. Count John was also the Count of Bohemia and Count of Orleans and D'Urbay. I thought to add that some of these rulers of Luxembourg through its history didn't rule just Luxembourg solely. It ruled other countries at one time, or places that used to be countries. Oh, okay. We're moving on to number 19. To Emperor Charles the Fourth of Holy Roman Empire. I did say earlier, it used to have been part of the Holy Roman Empire. And his wife Blanche of Valois became Count and Countess of Luxembourg on August 26, 1346, when his dad, Count John the Blind, died on the same day. Emperor Charles IV ruled Luxembourg from August 26, 1346 until his death in 1353. Not his death in 1353, until 1353, when he elevated it to a duchy for his half-brother Wenceslaus. Blanche of Valois ruled Luxembourg as Countess Consort from August 26, 1346 until her death on August 1st, 1348. Emperor Charles IV of the Holy Roman Empire and Blanche of Valois had 3 children during their 19 years of marriage. After Blanche of Valois had died, Emperor Charles IV of Holy Roman Empire remarried to Anne of Bavaria in 1346. Emperor Charles IV of Holy Roman Empire and Anne of Bavaria had one child during their 4 years of marriage. Diana Barbia had died on February 2nd, 1353. Emperor Charles IV of Holy Roman Empire remarried to Anna von Swawisnitz. In 1353, Emperor Charles IV of the Holy Roman Empire and Anna van Swawisnitz had 3 children during their 9 years of marriage. After Anna van Swawisnitz had died on July 11th, 1362, Emperor Charles IV of the Holy Roman Empire remarried to Elizabeth of Pomerania in 1363. Emperor Charles IV of the Holy Roman Empire and Elizabeth of Bohemia, has 6 children during their 15 years of marriage. Emperor Charles IV of the Holy Roman Empire had one illegitimate son named William, born in 1362 to an unknown woman. Emperor Charles IV of the Holy Roman Empire had 14 children in total with his 4 wives and his mistress. Emperor Charles IV of the Holy Roman Empire was also the Holy Roman Emperor, King of Italy, King of the Romans, King of Germany, and King of Bohemia. Hello, Snowball again. Okay, we're moving on to number 20, the last Count of Luxembourg. Count Wenceslaus I became the last Count of Luxembourg in 1353, when his half-brother, Emperor Charles IV of the Holy Roman Empire, handed the Countdom of Luxembourg over to Count Wenceslaus. Count Wenceslaus I ruled Luxembourg from 1353 until March 1354, when the country was elevated to a duchy. Count Wenceslaus I did not marry until 2 years before Luxembourg was elevated into a dukedom. Count Wenceslaus I was also Count of Orléans and Derby, Duke of Brabant and Limburg. Okay. We're done with the counts. Now we're at counts and countesses. Now we're going to move on to dukes and duchesses of Luxembourg. Are you comfy, Snowy? Yes. Okay, let's get into it. Dukes and Duchesses of Luxembourg. In 1354, the country was elevated to a duchy. Okay, this is the first house of the ruled Luxembourg. House of Luxembourg in Limburg. Number 1. Duke Wenceslaus I became the first Duke of Luxembourg when, on March 13th, 1354, when the country of Luxembourg elevated to a dukedom. Duke Wenceslaus ruled from Luxembourg from March 13th, 1354, until his death on December 7th, 1383. Duke Wenceslaus had gotten married to Duchess Joanna Barbent in 1352, but Duke Wenceslaus and Duchess Joanna Barbent did not have any children, so their nephew Wenceslaus became his heir. Duke Wenceslaus I also was the Count of Arlon and Derby and Duke of Brant and Limburg with his wife Duchess Joanna of Barbet. Okay, let's move on to number 2. Duke Wenceslaus II the Lazy and Joanna of Barbia. Hopefully it's not the same one. Same Joanna. Oh wait, here, never mind. Different one. Joanna of Barbia became Duke and Duchess of Luxembourg on December 2nd, 1383, until, due to his position as King of Bohemia in 1388. So, I guess it must have got a little sticky, a little complicated of ruling both places. I guess every place has their own set of rules. Okay. Joanna of Barbia ruled Luxembourg as Duchess Consort from December 7th, 1383 until her death on December 31st. Oh, New Year's Eve in 1386. Duke Wenceslaus II the Lazy and Joanna of Barbia never had any children at the time of Joanna of Barbia's death on December 31st, New Year's Eve, 1386, after 16 years of marriage. Then 3 years later, Duke Wenceslaus the Lazy remarried to his first cousin, once removed, Sophia of Barbia, on May 2nd, 1389. Even with Sophia of Barbia did not have any children with his cousin Duke Wenceslaus the Lazy. So Aunt Duke Wenceslaus II the Lazy had no children with any of his wives, so his cousin Jobbits became his heir. Yeah, this sounds like an old-fashioned name, Jobbits. Duke Wenceslaus II also was the King of Bohemia and the King of Germany. Okay. Move on to number 3, Duke Jobbis and his wife Agnes of Opole became Duke and Duchess of Luxembourg in 1388. Finally, the cats aren't fighting. Let's keep that way. Can you guys do that? No fight? Okay. Okay. They became Duke and Duchess of Luxembourg in 1388. Duke Jobbis ruled Luxembourg from 1388 until his death on January 18th, 1411. Agnes of Opoli ruled Luxembourg as Duchess consort from 1388 until her death in 1409. Duke Jobbis was married twice, first to Elizabeth Opoli in 1372. They never had any children at the time of Elizabeth of Opoli's death in 1374. After 2 years of marriage, in the same year, Duke Wenceslaus remarried to his second wife, Agnes Opoli. But even with his second wife, he had no children. Too bad. So since Duke Jobbis did not have any children with his two wives, so his first cousin once removed, Elizabeth Golitz, became his heir. Okay. Number 14. We're moving to 14. Duchess Elizabeth I and her husband Duke Anthony of Brabant became co-ruler. I told you we're gonna have more cool rulers we're gonna be talking about in the strip. Dutch co-ruling Duchess and Duke of Luxembourg on this January 18th, 1411, when her first cousin, once removed, Duke Jobbis, died on the same day. Duchess Elizabeth I ruled Luxembourg from January 18th, 1411 until Duke Philip III of Burgundy captured the city of Luxembourg in 1443. Duke Anthony of Brabant ruled Luxembourg from January 18th, 1411, until he was killed in the Battle of Agincourt on October 25th, 1415. The Duke Anthony of Brabant was killed at the Battle of Agincourt on October 25th, 1415. Then, 3 years later, Duchess Elizabeth I got remarried to Duke John III of Bavaria in 1418. Duchess Elizabeth I had no children with her two husbands, so she sold Luxembourg to Duke Philip III of Burgundy in 1441, but only to cede upon her death. Now, we're moving on to number 5. Duke Anthony Brabant and Duchess Elizabeth became co-ruler and Duchess and Duke of Luxembourg on January 18th, 1411, when his cousin, in-law, Duke Jarvis died on the same day. Duke Anthony Brabant ruled Luxembourg from January 18th, 1411 until he was killed in the Battle of Agincourt on October 25th, 1415. Duchess Elizabeth I ruled Luxembourg from January 18th, 1411 until Duke Philip III of Burgundy captured the city in 1443. Duke Anthony Brabant arrived late to the Battle of Agincourt in his emissary to reach the field. He dressed in impressive armor, wore a severe coat made from Tambur's flag. He fought valiantly, but was captured by some English archers. He was executed along with the rest of the prisoners and ordered by Henry V of England. The English became unaware of his high status and ransom value. The execution was carried out as the much smaller English force found itself stretched to its limits, guiding prisoners with the battle still not won. A counter-attack on King's baggage train is thought to have driven Henry to the decision, thinking he became being attacked from the rear, and some chancellors have been given Brabant's belated charge as this very cause, adding to the Duke's cavalry but tragic final story. Subsequently, the executions stopped immediately when the attack was seen to falter. Duke Anthony of Brabant was married twice. First, he was married to Jean of St. Paul on February 21st, 1402, until her death in 1407. But throughout their 5 years of marriage, Duke Anthony of Brabant and Jean of St. Paul had 2 sons. After Jean of St. Paul's death, Duke Anthony of Brabant had gotten remarried to Duchess Elizabeth I of Luxembourg on July 16, 1409. But Duke Anthony of Brabant did not have no children with his second wife, Elizabeth I of Luxembourg. Duke Anthony was also the Duke of Brabant before he became the Duke of Luxembourg. Okay, we're moving on to number 6. Duke John III of Bavaria became ruling Duke of Luxembourg on March 10th, 1418, when he had gotten married to Duchess Elizabeth I of Luxembourg. Duke John III of Bavaria ruled Luxembourg from March 18, 1418, until his death on January 6, 1426. Duke John III of Bavaria never had no children with his only wife, Duchess Elizabeth I of Luxembourg. Duke John III of Bavaria was also the first bishop of Landring and the Duke of Bavaria, Stangerbing, and Count of Holland and Henrik. Okay, Luxembourg, we're going to be moving on to Luxembourg has some claimants. Like every other monarchy, kingdom or duchy or whatever, has their own claimants, but Luxembourg has their own. So let's find out what that's all about. Luxembourg has some historical people claiming to be dukes and duchesses ever since Duke Philip III of Burgundy had captured the city of Luxembourg in 1443, but did not assume a docile title because of conflict claims by Anne of Austria, the closest Luxembourg relative. Okay, let's see. All the dukes or duchesses, people they're claiming to be the rightful rulers in the period that Luxembourg had dukes and duchesses, is when they were a dukedom, or duchy, as you want to call it. Okay. Number 1 is Duchess Elizabeth, claimed to still be the Duchess of Luxembourg because there was a clause in the sale of Luxembourg to Duke Philip III of Burgundy that he would become Duke of Luxembourg on the time of her death. But Duke Philip was not having it. So he decided to capture the city of Luxembourg by force in 1443. So Duchess Elizabeth I claimed she was still ruling in 1443 until her death on August 2nd, 1451. obviously, as you can tell, Duke Philip thought, hey, I bought it. I put the cash down. It's mine. What she's talking about is not mine till she dies. But honestly, when it's a stipulation, it's a stipulation. Okay, let's move on to the second person that think that they had a claim, which is Ladislas, the posthumous. Claimed he was rightfully claimed he was rightful heir of Luxembourg as rightful ruler of Luxembourg as Duke Wenceslas from his first cousin once removed, Duchess Elizabeth's death on August 2nd, 1451, until his death on November 23rd, 1456. I guess he didn't get the newsflash that she sold the country. I guess he thought just because he's related to her that he has a claim to her throne. I wonder how close they were. Okay, we'll move on to number 3. Anne of Bohemia and Austria claimed to be the rightful ruler of Luxembourg as Duchess Anne from the time of her brother Ladislas the posthumous death on November 23rd, 1457, until their death on November 13th, 1462. And a Bohemia in Austria had a pretender with her husband, William the Brave. Because her hubby was trying to help stand by his woman on the fact that she has the claim to the throne of Luxembourg. Okay. Move on and see why her hubby stood by her, which is in number 4. William the Brave claimed to be the rightful ruler of Luxembourg, but on behalf of his wife Anne of Bohemia and Austria, from the time of his brother-in-law Ladislas the posthumous death on November 23rd, 1457, until his wife of Bohemia and Austria's death on November 13, 1462. So he stuck with her till he couldn't stick with her because she died. Okay. Let's see who the 5th claimant is. Elizabeth of Austria claimed to be the rightful ruler of Luxembourg as Duchess Elizabeth II from time of her sister Anne of Bohemia and Austria's death on November 13th, 1462, until she stopped claiming to be the rightful ruler of Luxembourg in 1467. Elizabeth of Austria had a co-pretender with her husband, King Casimir the Fourth. Hopefully I get this right. Jagiellon of Poland. Yeah, the King of Poland. Until she stopped claiming she was the rightful ruler of Luxembourg in 1467. Okay, let's see why her man is the sixth claimant. King Casimir the Fourth, Jagiellon of Poland, claimed to be the rightful ruler of Luxembourg on behalf of his wife, Elizabeth of Austria. From the time of his sister-in-law, Anne of Bohemia, Austria, his death on November 23rd, 1457, until his wife, Elizabeth of Austria, stopped claiming to be Duchess Elizabeth II in 1467. Okay, and we are at our seventh and last claimant person to the throne of Luxembourg, which is King George of Bohemia, claimed to be the rightful ruler of Luxembourg as he being the King of Bohemia from 1458 until his death in 1471. So I guess he thought just because he's the ruler of his own kingdom, he has the right to take over a neighboring kingdom. Gives power to him. Okay. And that's it of our claimants. Okay, let's get back to Duke and Duchesses of Luxembourg. Okay. I think somebody's outside. Somebody driving down the highway. Okay. Let's get back to the Duke and Duchesses of Luxembourg. Okay. The House of Valois and Burgundy. In 1467, when Elizabeth of Austria, the Queen Consort of Poland, last rival claimant to the title, renounced her rights, Duke Philip III's son, Duke Charles of Burgundy, assumed the title of Duke of Luxembourg, making it a subsidiary title of Duke of Burgundy. Number 7. Seventh Duke is Duke Philip I, aka Philip III of Burgundy. The Good, and his wife Isabel of Portugal became Duke and Duchess of Luxembourg by force in 1443. Duke Philip I, aka III of Burgundy, the Good, ruled Luxembourg from 1443 when he took Luxembourg by force until his death on June 15, 1467. Isabella of Portugal ruled Luxembourg as Duchess Consort from 1443, when her husband took Luxembourg by force, until her death on June 15, 1467. Duke Philip I, aka the Third of Burgundy, the Good, was married twice before he married Isabel of Portugal. His first wife was his second cousin, Michelle of Valois. And he and Michelle of Valois had one daughter that died in infancy, and they, during her 13 years of marriage, at the time of Michelle of Valois' death on July 8, 1422. Then 2 years later, Duke Philip the Good had gotten remarried to Bonnie of Andros, but Bonnie died within a year of the wedding. That's sad. And they had no children, leaving Philip with no legitimate sons to this point. Philip and Isabel had gotten married 5 years later on January 7th, 1430, and they had 3 sons throughout their 5 years of marriage. Duke Philip I, aka Third of Burgundy, the Good, had 24 documented mistresses and fathered at least 18 illegitimate children. So in total, Duke Philip I, aka the Third of Burgundy, the Good, had 22 children with his wives number 1, 3, and 11 of his mistresses. Duke Philip I, aka the Third of Burgundy, the Good, was also Duke Philip III, the Good of Burgundy, as they said. Okay, let's move on to the 8th Duke of Luxembourg, which was Duke Charles II the Bold. Became Duke of Luxembourg on June 15th, 1467, when his dad, Duke Philip I, aka the Third of Burgundy, the Good, had died on the same day. Duke Charles II the Bold ruled Luxembourg from June 15th, 1467, until his death on January 5th, 1477. Duke Charles II the Bold had gotten married 3 times. First to Catherine of France in 1440, until her death on July 13th, 1446, from tuberculosis, or TB is short. Charles and Catherine did not have no children during their 6 years of marriage. Okay. Duke Charles II the Bold had gotten married for the second time, 8 years later, to Isabella of Bourbon in 1454 until her death on September 25th, 1465, from tuberculosis. So he's had 2 wives die of tuberculosis. Okay, and Charles and Isabella had 1 daughter during their 10 years of marriage. Duke Charles II the Bold had gone and married for the 3rd and last time, 3 years later, to Margaret of York in 1468. Duke Charles II the Bold did not only become Duke of Luxembourg on June 15th, 1467, he also became Duke of Burgundy on the same day, since his dad died. He automatically holded his dad's titles. Okay, we're moving on to number 9. Duchess Mary the First the Rich and Emperor Maximilian the First, the last knight of the Holy Roman Empire, became co-Duchess and Duke of Luxembourg on January 5th, 1477, when her dad, Duke Charles II the Bold, had died on the same day. Duchess Mary I the Rich ruled Luxembourg from January 5th, 1477 until her death on March 27th, 1482. Emperor Maximilian, the last knight, ruled Luxembourg from January 5th, 1477 until his wife, Duchess Mary I the Rich's death on March 27th, 1482. Mary and Maximilian had 3 children during their 5 years of marriage. Okay, moving on to number 10. Emperor Maximilian I, the last knight of the Holy Roman Empire, and Duchess Mary I the Rich became Duke and Duchess of Luxembourg on January 5th, 1477, when his father-in-law, Duke Charles II the Bold, had died on the same day. Emperor Maximilian, the last knight, ruled Luxembourg with his first wife, Duchess Mary I the Rich, from January 5th, 1477 until her death on March 27th, 1482. Maximilian I, the last knight, did remarry twice after. Duchess the First, the Rich, had died, but he got and remarried 8 years later to his second wife, Duchess Anne of Brittany, only to last until 1492 with an annulment, just because King Charles the Eighth of France had repudiated his betrothal to Margaret and forced Anne to marry him instead. So, as we say in modern days, it'd be a shotgun wedding. But technically, you could say for poor Anne, she was forced into this marriage to Charles the VIII of France when she was already married. I don't know if that would hold up today. Okay, never mind. After Maximilian Anne's forced annulment in 1492, then 2 years later, Maximilian had gotten remarried for the third and last time to, hopefully I get that name right, by Kaya Maria Sforza on March 16, 1494. But the marriage was unhappy and they had no children. Emperor Maximilian I last night has several illegitimate children. That's probably why he wasn't happy. Yeah. Emperor Maximilian the last night was also Holy Roman Emperor, King of the Romans, King of Germany, Archduke of Austria, and Duke of Burgundy. Okay, let's move on to the House of Habsburg. You know the famous House of Habsburg that's so famous for their inbreeding. Okay. In 1482, Luxembourg passed to the House of Habsburg after the abdication of Emperor Charles V. The Duchy of Luxembourg fell to the Spanish line of the House of Habsburg. Okay, let's look into some Habsburgian royals that ruled over Luxembourg. Okay, for number 11 is King Philip II the Handsome of Castiles and Leon, become the Duke of Luxembourg on March 27th, 1482, when his mom, Duchess Mary I the Rich, had died on the same day. King Philip II the Handsome of Castiles and Leon ruled Luxembourg from March 27th, 1482 until his death on September 25th, 1506. King Philip II the Handsome of Castiles and Leon was married to Joanna the Mad of Castiles in 1496. Philip and Joanna had 6 children during their 10 years of marriage, but Philip and Joanna's marriage had some problems. But despite Philip's efforts, Joanna would not cooperate in his power struggle against her father. In the end, his controlling and manipulative behaviors together with Ferdinand's attempts and Joanna's depression ruined the marriage and led to Joanna's personal tragedies. King Philip II the Handsome was also co-ruler of Castiles and Leon with his wife Joanna the Mad. He was Lord of the Netherlands and the Duke of Burgundy. Number 12, Emperor Charles III, the Golden of the Holy Roman Empire. Now we have another Holy Roman Emperor. No. And Isabel of Portugal became Duke and Duchess of Luxembourg. On September 25th, 1506, when his dad, King Philip II, the Handsome of Castiles and Leon, had died on the same day. Emperor Charles III of the Holy Roman Empire ruled Luxembourg from September 25th, 1506, until his abdication in favor for his son, Philip, on January 16, 1556. Isabel of Portugal rules Luxembourg as Duchess consort from September 25, 1506 until her death on May 1st, 1539. Charles and Isabel had 7 children during their 13 years of marriage. Emperor Charles III, the Golden, had 6 children out of wedlock. So in total, Emperor Charles III, the Golden, had 13 children in total. Emperor Charles III, the Golden, and Isabel of Portugal was also Holy Roman Emperor and Empress, King and Queen of Spain and Germany, Archduke and Archduchess of Austria, Lord and Lady of the Netherlands, and Duke and Duchess of Burgundy. Okay. Okay, let's move on to number 13. To King Philip III, the Prudent of Spain. He became Duke of Luxembourg on January 16, 1556, when his dad abdicated in favor of him. King Philip III, the Prudent, ruled Luxembourg from January 16, 1556, from May 6, 1598. Until May 6, 1598. Sounds better. King Philip III, the Prudent, was married 4 times. His first wife was Maria Manuela of Portugal. They were married on November 12th, 1543, and they had only 1 son during their 2 years of marriage, due to Maria dying from a hemorrhage days after giving birth to their only son 4 days prior. So you could say complications of giving birth to their kid. King Philip married 11 years later for the second time, this time to his first cousin once removed, Queen Mary the First of England. You know, the daughter of Henry VIII. At July 25th, 1554. It was a political marriage that produced no children because Mary had a false pregnancy during their 4 years of marriage. So more or less, Mary thought she was pregnant, as we all know, because she had the symptoms of being pregnant. But after days and weeks and months and years ticked by, no contractions kicked in, no morning sickness, or none of the usual stuff that happens when you're pregnant. And eventually her belly started receding back, so more or less she thought there was something, but it wasn't. Which is kind of, it's sad that she wanted them to have children to continue the Tudor line, but nothing happened. So, okay. Mary died on November 17th, 1558 from ovarian cyst or uterine cancer. That's what they might have thought that it probably was causing the symptoms of her having thought she was pregnant, but because she wasn't menstruating and those things could cause like even the ovarian cyst and your period cold turkey. I never heard of anybody dying of ovarian cyst. Cancer, yeah. Anyways, a year later, King Philip III, the Prudent, married for the third time, this time to Elizabeth of Valois in 1559. They had only 5 daughters, but 2 of the daughters survived during the 9 years of their marriage. Elizabeth died few hours after the loss of their last child. 11 years later, King Philip III, the Prudent, had gotten married for the 4th and last time to his niece, Anne of Austria. Yeah, you. Very nice, yeah. In 1570, they had 5 children during their 10 years of marriage. Which when I was writing the script, what I didn't mention, when Philip also was the King of Spain at the time. When he went to marry his niece, the Pope wouldn't sanction the marriage because I guess he thought it was too gross too. Anyways, they were married. They had 5 children during their 10 years of marriage, which ended with Anne dying from a heart failure 8 months after giving birth to the daughter Maria in 1580. Well, yeah. It's like the last part's like like the inbreeding game. King Philip III also was, as I say, King of Spain and King of Portugal. And also as Philip II and King of England. So yeah, and Ireland. So yeah, with his because he was king of England and Ireland when he married his cousin Mary. But he was only because he was, when he married his cousin Mary, he became King Philip the First. So if there's ever a future, like say Prince George ever in the future has a kid like Prince George of the United Kingdom, I should have less if he ever has, say, a son in the future, he names it Philip. The kid has a chance, if he wants to, he could be Philip II, because Philip II of Spain was Philip the First of England and Ireland. Okay, but anyways, Philip of Spain, but he was only, so King Philip was only, but he was only King of England and Ireland until his second wife, Queen Mary, or as we call her, Bloody Mary, of England, died in 1558. So yeah, so there's a little in the connection that if Prince George of the United Kingdom ever has a son and he names it Philip, and that kid gets older and sees to the throne, he has a chance that he could become Philip II of the UK, because Philip II of Spain was the Philip I of the United Kingdom, because ruling was his cuz. Okay, little explain in there. Well, I thought to put that in, because I always thought that when Charles III became king, and it was like, the name's back. You never know. You never know what the future's gonna hold for the UK royals. Okay. Let's continue back into this. Okay. Number 14. Duchess Elizabeth Clara Eugenia. And Duke Albert became co-Duchess and Duke of Luxembourg on May 6, 1598, when her father and his father-in-law, King Philip, aka King Philip II of Spain, the Prudent of Spain, had died on the same day. The Duchess Isabel Clara Eugenia ruled Luxembourg from May 6, 1598 until Duke Albert's death on July 13th, 1621. Duke Albert ruled Luxembourg from May 6, 1598 until his death on July 13th, 1621. Isabel, Clara, Eugenia, and Albert did not have any children together during their 22 years of marriage. Isabella Clara Eugenia also was sovereign of the Netherlands with her husband Albert. That's probably why she didn't continue with ruling Luxembourg. And also the governor of Habsburg, Netherlands. Because you remember learning the other videos on YouTube that Habsburgs ruled a lot of territory at one time, because especially with mainly with their inbreeding to it was popular back in history to keep their blood pure. Perhaps they don't do that much anymore. Or at all. Well, there's probably some places that still interbreed. Okay. Anyways, let's move on to number 15, to Duke Albert, as I mentioned, and Duchess Isabel Clara Eugenia came co-Duke and Duchess of Luxembourg on May 6, 1598, when his father-in-law and her father, King Philip III, the Prudent of Spain, had died on the same day. Duke Albert ruled Luxembourg from May 6, 1598 until his death on July 13th, 1621. Duchess Isabel Clara Eugenia ruled Luxembourg from May 6, 1598 until Duke Albert's death on July 13th, 1621. Albert and Isabella Clara Eugenia did not have any children together during their 22 years of marriage. Albert was also the sovereign in the Netherlands with his father, with his wife Isabella Clara Eugenia, Archduke of Lower and Upper Austria as Albert the Seventh, and Viceroy of Portugal. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's move on to number 16. To King Philip the Fourth of Spain and Portugal. Elizabeth, spelled with S, of France became Duke and Duchess of Luxembourg on July 13th, 1621, when his uncle Albert died on the same day. King Philip IV of Spain and Portugal ruled Luxembourg from July 13th, 1621 until his death on September 17th, 1665. Elizabeth of France ruled as Duchess Consort from July 13th, 1621, My roommate's home. That's why I went. No one. Until her death on October 6th, 1644. Hi! Philip and Elizabeth were married on October 18th, 1615. They had 7 children during their 21 years of marriage. 5 years after Elizabeth's death, that's when King Philip IV remarried for the second and last time to Archduchess Maria Anna of Austria in 50 bucks. Oh. I want to be right. Okay, I'm back. Yeah.
Oh, don't worry.
You want to say hi, Anita?
Hi! Anything else?
No.
Just that?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're just deciding what to have for supper.
Do we need more toilet paper?
Wouldn't hurt.
Toilet paper, pizza, and drinks.
Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay. See you in a bit.
Okay. Let's see
You
you.
might have me.
Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. Huh. Okay, the second and last time. Okay. King Philip IV remarried for the second and last time to Archduchess Maria Anna of Austria in 1649. They had 5 children during the 16 years of marriage. Bye, Pete. Never mind. King Philip IV had a large number of illegitimate children, so he was stepping out on his wife. King Philip IV also was King of Spain and Portugal. So yeah, at one time Portugal was ruled by one monarch. Kind of like the Scandinavian countries at one time were ruled by one monarch. Yeah, the Aryan Union I can't think of something. It's kind of like that. It's ruled by one monarch. Like the UK, you can see now that it's ruled by one monarch. Okay. Let's move on to number 17. While my roommate goes out and gets something to eat for supper. So we're moving on to King Charles IV, the Bewitched. I can understand with a nickname like that being in the Habsburgs. Of Spain. And this is the guy that has so much. This is the effect of the inbreeding. Okay. Became Duke of Luxembourg on September 17th, 1665, when his dad Philip IV of Spain and Portugal had died on the same day. King Charles IV, the Bewitched, ruled Luxembourg from September 17th, 1665 until his death on November 1st, 1700. King Charles IV, the Bewitched, was married twice. First to Maria Louise of d'Orleans in 1679, they were married until her death on February 12th, 1689. After 19 years of marriage, and second to Maria Anna of Neuburg in 1689, until King Charles IV the Bewitched death on November 1st, 1700. After 11 years of marriage, but he did not have any children from any of his wives, because King Charles IV the Bewitched was over inbreded because of the Habsburgs' habit of inbreeding with each other. That's why King Charles IV was given the nickname the Bewitched. King Charles, and he never, because of all that inbreeding, he was infertile. Like, to the point that he couldn't knock up any of his wives. There is some, actually, that would make a great, topic for a video, which there's a lot of videos of the pros and cons of inbreeding. It's bad. King Charles the Fourth, the Bewitched, also was King of Spain. So by the time he got on to Spain's throne and became Duke of Luxembourg, that union was broken up. So, okay. Since King Charles the Fourth of Spain, the Bewitched, he had no children, it threw Spain into a succession crisis. Well, a succession crisis means when people have to scramble to figure out, who's gonna rule next. Last one had none. During the War of the Spanish Succession, from 1701 to 1714, the duchy was disputed between Philip of Anjou, the grandson of Louis. I have to remember my Roman numerals. Existence. So that'd be Louis the 14th of France. So that's a Sun King. Of the House of Bourbon. The Emperor Charles of Austria, and the son of Emperor Leopold I of the Holy Roman Empire of the House of Habsburg. In 1712, the Luxembourg and Nemours were ceded to Elector Maximilian II. Okay, hopefully I get this name right. Emmanuel. Oh, got it right. Bavia. By his French allies, but at the end of the war in 1713, with the Treaty of, brace with me, I have to figure this one out. Utrecht, Maximilian Emmanuel was restored as Elector of Bavaria. In 1713, the duchy fell to Austrian branch of the House of Austria. Yeah, so if you ever look at the family tree of Austria, there's different branches of them. Okay. Now we're moving on to the first house that took over after Charles IV threw Spain into a succession crisis in Luxembourg. Into one. Because Charles IV had no kids, because, as I said, he's well overbred. Okay, the house that took over was the House of Bourbon. Okay, so we're up to 18. Number 18, King Philip V of Spain became Duke of Luxembourg on November 1st, 1700, when his great uncle, King Charles IV of Spain, had died on the same day. King Charles V ruled. King Philip V, ignore that, what I just said. I meant King Charles V. Ruled Luxembourg from November 1st, 1700. My roommate's back again. Until ceded his throne to his uncle Maximilian, so Uncle Max, in 1712. King Philip V had married twice. First to Maria Louisa Gabrielle of Savoy on November 3rd, 1701. And they had 4 sons during their 13 years of marriage, until Maria Louisa Gabriella died on February 14th, 1714. Thank you, Need. After 10 months, King Philip had gotten married to his second wife, Elizabeth Francie, on December 21st. Yeah, Christmas Eve wedding.
I don't know when you want it.
That'll be good. 1714, and they had 7 children during their 32nd years of marriage. In total, King Philip V had 11 children. And King Philip V was also King of Spain, King of Naples and Sardinia, and Lord of Naples. Lord of Netherlands, not Naples, Netherlands. I said yeah. Oh, I meant Lord of Netherlands, sorry. Okay. The second house that took over after the death of King Charles IV of Spain's death was the House of Wesselbach. Back. Oh, it is right. Bach. No. That brings up the step to 19. So, the Elector Maximilian II Emmanuel of Barbia, and his wife, Teresa Kangadica. Sobieska became Duke and Duchess of Luxembourg in 1712 when his nephew Philip V of Spain ceded his throne to Elector Maximilian II Manuel. So when you see this, gave his throne up to his uncle Max.
Sure. You can have the last one.
Okay.
Thanks. You want the pizza?
Sure. I got my whistle so I won't lose my voice, and it sounds like silent film. Okay. Okay, I was going to say that his nephew got a seat of the throne so he could have a chance to rule Luxembourg just for a while. Elector Maximilian II Manuel ruled Luxembourg from 1712 until the next year on April 11th, 1713. So he didn't rule long, like almost a year. When he ceded his throne to his second cousin. So it bounced around the family tree a lot. Emperor Charles, second cousin Emperor Charles the Fifth of the Holy Roman Empire. You gotta love the Holy Roman Empire. Teresa Congida Sobieska ruled Luxembourg as Dutch consort from 1712 until her husband ceded his throne to her cousin-in-law on 11th of 1713. Elector Maximilian II Emmanuel was to Maria Antoine of Austria in 16. Was married to Maria Antoine of Austria in 1685 before he had gotten married to Teresa Ginda Sobieska in 1694. Maximilian Emmanuel, and Maria Antoine had 2 children during their 7 years of marriage. Maximilian Emmanuel and Teresa had 10 children during their 32nd years of marriage. Elector Maximilian II Emmanuel was also was Elector of Bavaria, and the 22nd hold on. Sorry about that. I think I'm getting a cold or something. My nose is leaking right now. It's okay. When we were talking about Elector Max the second. He was also, as I say, Elector of Bavaria, and he was the ninth governor of the Spanish Netherlands. So yeah, one time Netherlands was ruled over by Spain. Till we all know today it's his own place, its own kingdom. With his own kings and queens. And we're going to mention some of them later on that took a shot at ruling Luxembourg at one time. Okay. Let's look at another one. Another house, which is the House of Habsburgs. They're back again. Those pesky Habsburgs. Those pesky inbreeding Habsburgs. Okay. 20. They bring us up to 20. With Emperor Charles V of the Holy Roman Empire and his wife Elizabeth Christine of Brunswick. I know that name because we have a province named Brunswick. New Brunswick. Okay. And they became Duke and Duchess of Luxembourg on April 11th, 1713. When his second cousin, Elector Maximilian II Manuel of Bavaria acceded his throne see, I wrote down, but it must go erased. Yeah, acceded his throne to him. Okay, Emperor Charles V ruled Luxembourg from April 11th, 1713 until his death on October 20th, 1740. Elizabeth Christina of Brunswick ruled Luxembourg as Duchess Consort from April 11th, 1713 until her husband's death on thank you, Nita. On October 20th, 1740. Charles V and Elizabeth Christina have 4 children. And you're going to ask me a question, aren't you?
No, to see what the name was doing.
Oh.
Then that's the name. Yeah. Try not to distract.
It's not like the first 5 mammals distracted me while I'm working.
I want something on my phone to hear that.
Okay. Had 4 children during their 32nd years of marriage. Emperor Charles V also was Holy Roman Emperor and Archduke of Austria and King of Hungary, Croatia, and Bohemia. Sounds like a Clydesdale going up her basement stairs. It's just dashy. Okay, let's move on to number 21. To Empress Maria II, Teresa, and Emperor Francis I of the Holy Empire. That's the couple that are the parents are of Maria Antoinette, the last queen of France before the French Revolution. Okay, let's go. They became Duchess and Duke of Luxembourg on October 20th, 1740, when her dad, Emperor Charles V of the Holy Roman Empire, had died. I think I'm right. Yeah. Empress Maria II Teresa ruled Luxembourg from October 20th, 1740, until her death on November 29th, 1780. Emperor Francis I of the Holy Roman Empire ruled Luxembourg as Duke Consort. So he didn't rule with his wife on this one. He just let her rule separate. From October 20th, 1740 until his death on August 18th, 1765. Empress Maria II, Teresa, and Emperor Francis I had 16 children during their 4 years of marriage, and most of their daughters were named Maria. Maria. My opinion, that would get confusing. Having all your daughters named the same thing. Okay. The first 8 years of marriage. Empress Maria II, Teresa, and Emperor Francis I were co-rulers of the Holy Roman Empire. As to say that more or less they ruled together, but she more or less had the sole power. In Austria as Archduchess and Archduke. In Hungary and Croatia as Queen and King. Empress Maria II, Teresa, also was Queen of Bohemia solely. And Emperor Francis I was also Grand Duke of Tuscany and Duke of Leon and Lorraine and Bar solely. So there's some countries they rule together, and some they rule solely. It's kind of like me and India have a joint channel together, and we have our own. It's kind of like that. Okay, well, we'll move on to number 22. When my roommate cooks supper. Okay, cool. 22. Number 22. Emperor Joseph II of the Holy Roman Empire became Duke of Luxembourg on November 29th, 1780, when his mom, Empress Maria II, Teresa of the Holy Roman Empire, had died on the same day. Emperor Joseph II ruled Luxembourg from November 29, 1780 until his death on February 20th, 1790. Emperor Joseph II was married twice. First to Isabella of Parma on October 1760. They had 2 daughters during their 3 years of marriage. When Isabella of Parma died on November 27, 1763, it was 2 years later when Emperor Joseph II had gotten remarried to his second wife, Maria Josephia of Bavaria. And they did not have any children during their 2 years of marriage. Emperor Joseph II was also Holy Roman Emperor and Duke of Austria, King of Hungary, Croatia, and Bohemia. Okay. Okay. Let's move on to number 23. To Emperor Leopold II of the Holy Roman Empire and his wife Maria Louisa of Spain. Came Duke and Duchess of Luxembourg on February 20th, 1790, when his brother Emperor Joseph II of the Holy Roman Empire had died on the same day. Emperor Leopold II ruled Luxembourg from February 20th, 1790 until his death on March 1st, 1792. Maria Louise of Spain ruled Luxembourg as Duchess Consort from February 20th, 1790 until her husband's death on March 1st, 1792. Leopold and Maria Louisa had 16 children during their 28 years of marriage. But Leopold had 1 child, so he was stepping out on her. So in total, Emperor Leopold II had 17 children in total. Emperor Leopold II also was Holy Roman Emperor, Archduke of Austria, King of Hungary, Croatia, Bohemia, and Grand Duke of Tuscany. Okay. Hold on. Sorry, I just noticed something got erased. Okay. Let's move on to number 24. Yeah, 24 got erased by accident. Number 24. Emperor Francis II of the Holy Roman Empire and his wife Maria Teresa of Naples in Sicily became the last Duke and Duchess of Luxembourg on March 1st, 1792, when his dad, Emperor Leopold II of the Holy Roman Empire, died on the same day. Emperor Francis II ruled Luxembourg from March 1st, 1792, until Luxembourg was occupied by French revolutionaries in 1792. I think this must be around the time of the French Revolution in France. Okay. Maria Theresa of Naples and Sicily ruled Luxembourg as Duchess Consort from the March 1st, 1792 until Luxembourg was occupied by French revolutionaries in 1794. Emperor Francis II was married 4 times. First to Elizabeth Wartenberg on January 6, 1788, and they had only 1 daughter during their 2 years of marriage. In the same year that Elizabeth of Wartenberg had died in 1790, it was not long after his wife died, he remarried. That Emperor Francis had gotten remarried for the second time to his second wife, Maria Theresa of Naples and Sicily. On September 15th, 1790, they had 12 children during their 17 years of marriage. A year later, after Maria Theresa of Naples and Sicily died on April 13th, 1807, that's when Emperor Francis II married for the 3rd time to his 3rd wife, Maria Ludovica of Austria-East on January 6th, 1808. They had no children together during their 8 years of marriage, the same year that Maria Ludovica of Austria had died on April 7th, 1816. That's when Emperor Francis II remarried for the 4th and last time to his 4th and last wife, Caroline Charlotte Auguste of Bavaria. On October 29th, 1816, they did not have any children during their 19 years of marriage. Emperor Charles II also was Holy Roman Emperor, Archduke/Emperor of Austria, King of Hungary, Croatia, and Bohemia, King of the Lomgrad and Vetia, and head of the Dialmechta, Austria. Hopefully that works right. Austria is right. Luxembourg was occupied by the French revolutionaries between 1794 to 1830. At the Vienna Congress, it was elevated to a Grand Duchy, where that's what it is today, a Grand Duchy. Given in a personal union to an ancestor of the reigning monarch of the Netherlands, King William I of the Netherlands. So as I told you before, we're going to learn a little bit of the Netherlands royal monarchs that once ruled Luxembourg. Because the Luxembourg royal family in the Netherlands, and practically all the royal families in Europe are all related. I should know I'm related to them. Anyways, let's move on to the last part, which is Grand Dukes and Grand Duchesses of Luxembourg. Okay. Give you some info here. The Grand Duke or Duchess of Luxembourg is the head of state of Luxembourg. Excuse me. Luxembourg is the world's only extant sovereign Grand Duchy, a status in which Luxembourg has promoted in 1815 upon its unification with the Netherlands under the House of Orange-Nassau. The Luxembourg Constitution divides the Grand Dukes or Duchesses position. The Grand Duke or Duchess is the head of state, symbol of its unity and grandeur of the national independence. He or she exercises executive power in accordance with the Constitution, the laws of the country, originally the Constitution. Constitution via the Grand Duke or Duchess with Casville executive power in the practice, however, since the end of the personal union with the Netherlands in the 1890. He or she has usually limited he or she to a mostly horizontal role, acting on advice of the government. Amendments in 1919 essentially curbed the Grand Duke's or Duchess's powers. Those codified to decades of the constitutional practice. Okay. We're going to learn about the monarchs from the House of Nassau, House of Orange-Nassau. The house that used to rule the Luxembourg. That's from the Kingdom of the Netherlands. Okay. The first Grand Duke, person that was the Grand Duke, was King William I of the Netherlands, and Wilhelmina of Prussia became the first Grand Duke and Grand Duchess of Luxembourg on March 15, 1815, when Luxembourg elevated to a Grand Duchy. King William I ruled Luxembourg from March 15, 1815, until his abdication in favor for his son William on October 7th, 1840. Wilhelmina of Prussia ruled Luxembourg as Grand Duchess Consort. From March From March 15th, 1815, sorry for the pause, until her death on October 12th, 1837, when William I and Wilhelmina had 6 children during their 46 years of marriage. King Wilhelm did remarry one more time after the death of his wife, Wilhelmina of Prussia. His death on October 12th, 1837. But he remarried 4 years later to Henrietta, hopefully I get her last name right, de Tremont in 1841. They did not have any children during their 2 years of marriage. King Wilhelm I also was King of the Netherlands, sovereign prince of the Netherlands from 1813 to 1815, Prince of Orange from 1806 to 1815, Prince of Nassau, Orange, and Vlodrop from 1803 to 1806, Duke of Luxembourg and King of the Dutch East Indies. Okay, I'm just gonna have to, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. As I say, I think I'm getting a cold or something. Okay, let's move on to the second Dutch king. That was Grand Duke of the Netherlands. King William II of the Netherlands and his wife Anna Polovia of Russia became Grand Duke and Grand Duchess of Luxembourg when his dad, Wilhelm I of the Netherlands, had abdicated from his son for his son. King Wilhelm II ruled Luxembourg from October 7th, 1840, until his death on March 17th, 1849. Anna Polovia of Russia ruled Luxembourg from March 17th, 1849, until her husband's death on October 7th, 1840. Wilhelm II and Anna Polovia had 5 children during their 33 years of marriage. King Wilhelm II also was the King of the Netherlands and Duke of Limburg. Did I make you snowy? I'm sorry. Okay, let's move on to the third. I think it might be the final Dutch king out of the House of Orange-Nassau. King Wilhelm III of the Netherlands and Sophia Wettenberg became Grand Duke and Grand Duchess of Luxembourg on March 17, 1849. When his dad, King Wilhelm III of the Netherlands, had died on the same day. King Wilhelm III ruled Luxembourg from March 17, 1849 until his death on November 23, 1890. Sophia Wettenberg ruled Luxembourg as Grand Duchess Consort from March 17, 1849 until her death on June 3, 1877. Wilhelm III and Sophia had 3 sons during their 38 years of marriage. After the death of Sophia Wettenberg's death on June 3rd, 1877. It was 2 years later until King Wilhelm III had gotten remarried for the second and last time. It was to Emma Waldeck and Pamont. In 1879, they had 1 daughter during their 11 years of marriage. In total, King Wilhelm III of the Netherlands had 4 children in total between his 2 wives. King Wilhelm III also was the King of the Netherlands and the Duke of Limburg. Okay. We'll move on now to the House of Nassau-Weilburg. Under the 1783 Nassau family pact, the territories of the Nassau family in Holy Roman Empire at the time of the pact, Luxembourg and Nassau, were bonded by semi-Slavic law, which allowed inheritance by females or through the female line only upon extinct of the male members of the dynasty. When Wilhelm III died, leaving only his daughter Wilhelmina as an heir, the crown of the Netherlands, not being bonded by the family pact, passed to Wilhelmina. However, the crown of Luxembourg passed to a male line of another branch of the House of Nassau. Adolf, the disappointed Duke of Nassau and head of the branch of Nassau-Weilburg, in 1905, Grand Duke Adolf's younger half-brother, Prince, hopefully I get this one, Nicolaus Wilhelm of Nassau, died, having left a son, George Nicolaus, Count von Merenberg, who was, however, the protected of the Monarchy marriage. Throughout, therefore, not legally a member of the House of Nassau. In 1907, Adolf's only son, William IV, Grand Duke of Luxembourg, adopted the passed law confirmed that the right of the eldest daughter, Marie Adelaide, to succeed to the throne in absence of any remaining dynasty males of the House of Nassau, as originally stipulated in the Nassau family pact. She became the Grand Duchy's first reigning female monarch. Upon her family's death, on her father's death, in 1912, upon her own abdication in 1919, was succeeded by her younger sister Charlotte, who married Felix Bourbon in Parma, and a prince of the former Duchy of Parma. Charlotte's descendants have since reigned as the continued dynasty of Nassau. And if we're here on out, when we hit Charlotte, we're going to be talking about Charlotte's descendants. Okay. Number 4. Grand Duke Adolphe and his wife Adelheid Marie of Anhalt-Dessau became Grand Duke and Grand Duchess of Luxembourg on November 23, 1890, when his 17th cousin, once removed, King Wilhelm III of the Netherlands, had died on the same day. Grand Duke Adolphe ruled Luxembourg from Sorry, I lost my spot. Okay. Ruled Luxembourg from November 23rd, 1890 until his death on November 17th, 1905. Adelheid Marie of Anhalt-Dessau ruled Luxembourg as Grand Duchess Consort from November 23rd, 1890 until her husband's death on November 17, 1905. Grand Duke Adolphe was married before he married Adelheid Marie of Anhalt-Dessau. Just a year early, he was married to Grand Duchess Elizabeth. I hope I get this name right. Mikhailovna of Russia, until her death on January 28, 1845. But Adolphe and Elizabeth Mikhailovna had no children during their 1 year of marriage, of being married. 1 year of being married. 6 years later, Grand Duke Adolphe had gotten married to Adelheid Marie of Anhalt-Dessau. In 1851, they had 5 children during their 39 years of marriage. Grand Duke Adolphe also was Duke of Nassau until Nassau was annexed by the Kingdom of Persia. not Prussia. Okay. Let's move on to number 5. Grand Duke William IV and Infanta Maria Anna of Portugal became Grand Duke and Grand Duchess of Luxembourg on November 17, 1905, when his dad, Grand Duke Adolphe of Luxembourg, had died on the same day. Grand Duke William IV ruled Luxembourg from November 17, 1905 until his death on February 25, 1912. Infanta Marie Anna of Portugal ruled Luxembourg as Grand Duchess Consort from November 1905 until her husband's death on February 25, 1912. William IV and Marie Anna had 6 daughters during their 19 years of marriage. Okay, I'm almost done here. I'm like on the Grand Duke. So. Okay, I'll cut it when I'm done. Okay, let's move on to the 6th. Number 6. Grand Duchess Maria Adelaide became Grand Duchess of Luxembourg on February 25, 1912, when her dad, Grand Duke William IV of Luxembourg, died on the same day. Grand Duchess Maria Adelaide ruled Luxembourg from February 25, 1912, until her abdication in favor of her sister, Charlotte, on January 14, 1919. Grand Duchess Maria Adelaide was never married and did not have any children. Okay, let's move on to number 7. To Maria Adelaide's sister, Grand Duchess Charlotte, became Grand Duchess of Luxembourg on January 14, 1919, when her sister, Grand Duchess Maria Adelaide, advocated in favor of her. Grand Duchess Charlotte ruled Luxembourg from January 14, 1919, until she advocated in favor for her son, Jean. Her son Jean, on November 12, 1964. Grand Duchess Charlotte was married to Prince Felix of Bourbon-Parma on November 6, 1919. They had 6 children during their 51 years of marriage. Okay, we're almost done here. We're actually getting down into present day of Luxembourg's monarchy. Okay, we're moving on to number 8, to Charlotte's son, Grand Duke Jean, and Princess Josephine Charlotte of Belgium became Grand Duke and Grand Duchess of Luxembourg on November 12, 1964. That's the year my mom was born. When his mom, Grand Duchess Charlotte, advocated in favor for him. Grand Duke Jean ruled Luxembourg from November 12th, 1964 until his abdication in favor for his son, Henry, on October 7th, 2000. Princess Josephine Charlotte of Belgium ruled Luxembourg as Grand Duchess consort from November 12th, 1964 until her husband's abdication in favor for their son, Henri. On October 7th, 2000, Jean and Josephine Charlotte had 5 children during their 52 years of marriage. Grand Duke Jean was the regent of Luxembourg for his mom, Grand Duchess Charlotte, from May 4th, 1961 until his mom's abdication on November 12th, 1964. My mom would have just been a little baby when this happened. So 9 months old. Okay. We're moving on to the current Grand Duke that's still, at the moment, still ruling Luxembourg. Till he's done in October. Is, so number 9, Grand Duke Henri and his wife Maria Theresa. Hopefully I pronounce this right. It's a Cuban last name. Batista of Cuba became Grand Duke and Grand Duchess of Luxembourg on October 7th, 2000, when his dad, Grand Duke Jean, advocated in favor for him. Grand Duke Henri rules Luxembourg from October 7, 2000, until which time he will advocate in favor for his son, Gil Emir. Hopefully this pronounced. On October 3rd, 2025. Yeah, this year. It's like, as I say, like 10 months away before Grand Duke Henri and his wife won't be Grand Duke and Duchess anymore. And Maria Theresa Batista of Cuba rules Luxembourg as Grand Duchess consort from October 7th, 2000, until which time her husband will advocate in favor for their son, Guillemire. On October 3rd, 2025, this year. Henri and Maria Theresa have 5 children. Together, and they have been married since 1981. That's the year before Anita was born. So, Grand Duke Henri was the regent of Luxembourg for his dad, the Grand Duke Jean, from March 4th, 1998, until his dad's abdication on October 7th, 2000. And then he became Grand Duke. Okay, and now, number 10, we're going to be talking about the guy and the couple that will, in October, become Grand Duke and Grand Duchess of Luxembourg. So, right now he's not the Grand Duke yet, so. In which time, in October, he will have the title of become Grand Duke Guillemire, and his wife is Countess Stephanie d'Elma in Belgium? Yeah. Will become Grand Duke and Grand Duchess on the 3rd of 2025 this year, when his dad, Grand Duke Henri, will advocate in favor for him. Guillemire and Stephanie have 2 sons. Sorry about that. Have 2 sons. And Guillemire is, right now, the regent of Luxembourg, is regent of Luxembourg from October 8th, 2024, like last year, until his dad's abdication in October 3rd, 2025. So, okay. Hopefully you like that. If you did, you know the drill. Like and subscribe. And hopefully you have a good rest of the night. And if you're in the wildfire area in California, be safe. And hopefully you're not freezing too much in the deep south with the snow. So is that okay? Then I'll say goodbye to you now. Say goodbye.